How does my Prism Commoner deck fare in a post-Everfest world? Let's find out. Hi friends, welcome back to Nearly Sane Games. I'm Neil, and this is the Armory Report. Now last night's Armory was a Commoner event, and I took my Prism deck to see how it would fare. Now for the Everfest upgrades, I basically took out the Herald of Rebirth and put in Phantasmal Haze in there. Now, Phantasmal Haze is a 3 cost, 8 attack for the reds, and if it gets popped, then you get a Spectral Shield. I figured that this gives us a little bit of protection and will allow us to get some advantage if we lose the Herald, and it's also a bigger attack. I also swapped out the blues as well because blues come in at a 6 power attack. As an all blue hand, that's still pretty good. So how did we do in our 4 rounds? Well, our first round was against a Dory Axis build. And I started off aggressive right away. Started with a Spears for 3 and a Phantasmal Haze for 8 with 11 power attack. That is something my opponent wanted to not block at all, but the 8 damage coming through definitely had to pull some cards out of their hand. Started to use the armor right away. Very good hit. And we went back and forth. Axis is a little bit tricky. He did have a turn where he sent an axe in and sent in the next axe, gave that one go again, and sent in the first axe yet again. Quite a powerful combination, and a lot of damage that needed to be blocked. But in the end, I was able to get down 2 Spectral Shields and just kept trying to push in damage as much as I could. Sometimes I'd just swing with both the Spectral Shields, but my focus was protecting those, protecting my life total, and continuing to pull cards out of Dory's hands. We got down to 1-1, so we were each in a precarious situation, but I was able to swing Spectral Shields twice, and that was too much for the block that he had in hand, so I was able to take that match. Round 2 was against Ira. This is a pummeling Ira. Very, very dangerous, and honestly, more than I could handle. This was a lot, just a huge amount of damage. This deck could pitch a blue, swing a Kodachi, and then swing in a Stony Wooten Hog for 7, threatening 8. Very, very powerful. And he just brought over a ton of damage. He was throwing over... it would be not unexpected for his turn to throw over 15 points of damage. And for a lot of that, I was just laying down my hand to stay alive. And this was very bad. So I'm playing all my cards as defense, and he gets a full grip to throw whatever he has at me. Extremely punishing. And I would get a hand or two that I could, throw back some damage, but not enough to threaten lethal. And a lot of times he would maybe block with 1 card and take the damage. I didn't have the big power plays that I really wanted to get there. In the end, he was still at 7 life, and I was down to 1, and he just threw over too much damage. I don't know what to do about that deck. I think I will need to look at that deck more. And honestly, I think that's probably the deck to do. I think that He only lost one game last night, and that was to a mirror match. So it it just has an extreme amount of power. Um, the fact that you can do Kadachi plus another 8 points of attack um, on 2 cards. That's I don't think that there's another hero that can threaten that much damage. And when he goes wide, it's a bloodbath. So I lost my second round. My third round was to another Doriax's. I'm not sure where this Doriax's build came from. Um, I don't necessarily think that. I would figure that we would still be on Dawnblade, especially with the new tools that Everfest gave us. I think that Blade Runner is very strong and could really threaten to push enough damage to make that Dawnblade really sting and really be a problem. But Axes, it seems like that's where we're at. Uh, so I got he came in with a lot of big hits. I had some hands that were all defensive reactions or a large number of defense reactions, and I was able to sink some of those away so I could have my attacks back. I know at one point I broke my Heart and Cross strap for a 1 card attack, but that was with a yellow Enigma Chimera, so 1 card attack, still swinging for 7, really good. I got him down to 1. I was still at 5, and I was able to make a Spectral Shield, swing the Spectral Shield, and then follow up with a Herald, and that was really what killed him in the end. Round 4 was against Dash, and Dash can throw over a lot of damage too. And but Dash is a little bit squishy. Dash can throw over a lot of damage, but does not quite have the consistency that Ira has. So the eventually you can kind of wear Dash down. You can force cards out of their hand, and that kind of breaks them a little bit. I had a great bluff. It wasn't a bluff, really, but he misread the attack. I threw down my blue to play a Wartune Herald. I popped my Dreamweavers to make sure that the Phantasm would not pop out of this. Dash does have 6 power attacks, so I wanted to be aware of that. And so I have 2 resources floating and a 7 power attack coming at him. 1 card in hand. He's thinking, I have Pummel. I do run Pummel. Not the red one, but I do run that. And that's not what I was bluffing. So he throws down his whole hand, blocks for 12. I pop my Snapdragon Scalers, give it go again, throw a Herald of Protection at him for 7. And that was a really great attack. And I think that he should have blocked with 2 cards, and if there was the Pummel, then there's the Pummel. He could have taken that hit. He would have lost next turn, but throwing down his hand, he would have lost the next turn anyway. I see that he was trying to preserve his life total, but honestly, he had enough life that he could have taken the hit, and it probably wouldn't have been a problem. He took the 7-point hit, which was very difficult for him, but he still had some life left. I think that took him down to 5 with that hit. So he probably read that wrong. If he had saved some cards, he might have lost a card if I did have a Pummel. But then he could have arsenaled the card and been all the better off next turn. As it stood, I got a 7-point attack in with Spectral Shields. And then it was my game, and able to swing the Spectral Shields and keep a lot of pressure on him. His life total was low, so he needed to protect his life, and just constant pressure, constantly pulling cards out of his hand. Dash does not do as well with 1 or 2 card hands as Ira can. So he wasn't threatening enough back. I was using my life total very liberally. Uh, wasn't worried about too many defense or attack reactions from him. So I was able to block a little bit, take some damage. In the end, I was down to 2 life. I got him down to 1 life. And I just worked on keeping pressure on him. At 1 life, you're able to swing a Spectral Shield. That 4 damage breakpoint, um, he's going to block it, and it's going to cost him 2 cards every time. And his 2 card response um, wasn't good enough until I got to the point where I had 2 Spectral Shields, able to swing both of those, and just waiting for the non-block. Or I think I might have sent a Spectral Shield and a Herald, and it's too much for him, and I was able to take down that. So in the end, I went 3-1. Ira beat me easily, and uh, I played 2 Dories, and I think Dory could kill me, but it's a very bad matchup. I think Dorinthia just doesn't have the ability to pop my Spectra or pop my Phantasm attacks, and there's just no good out. I can apply too much pressure. Um, Dory would need to hit me with a defense reaction or an attack reaction that I wasn't expecting and didn't block for. But that's very difficult, and I apply a lot of pressure. So I will be taking a lot of cards out of Dorinthia's hands. I've been very good at winning those matches. Dash, I think, is a bit more of a toss-up. I think I probably have maybe a 60 or 70% chance of winning that match. Dash could potentially overwhelm me with all of those attacks, but again, I don't think Dash is consistent enough in Commoner compared to my deck. The Prism deck is 6, 7 power attacks every turn with potential to go over the top and have a more powerful attack. So I think I have a good matchup there, and it's just Ira, and I would expect Katsu to have a similar win rate against me. Just explosive. It kind of feels like playing against Briar in before all the bans. Just a ton of pressure constantly, and there's not much you can do about it. You either, especially with having the Blitz life totals. So speaking of Blitz, next week we will have a Blitz match. I am going to expect to lose this match because I would like to play one of the new heroes in Everfest, or one of the heroes that got big upgrades in Everfest. So I would like to either play Kasai with Sabers and see what I could do with that, with her new tools. I would really like to play Data Doll. I think I'm going to push to find a Data Doll build. Or perhaps the new Guardian. Those are the 3 decks that I'm really looking at to build a new Blitz deck with. And this is going to be kind of an educational experience for me. I will probably take a net deck somewhere and see how far I can take it. So look for that next week. I'll probably include a deck tech to talk about how the deck is planning on working, and we'll see where we can go and how far we can push it. I expect to see a lot of new Everfest cards in Blitz next week. But I'm excited to see where it goes and to see what these new heroes or what these new tools can bring. I think there's a lot of powerful new tools available, and I'm anxious to see exactly how they work. So come back next week for that, and we'll see how it goes. Until then, I'm Neil, and this has been the Armory Report.